So I do understand that some of you are just back from another lecture, and I do hope that all of you can listen to what I'm saying, and then, of course, you can see on the slide the Unit 5 Alternative Education Program. So, in case it is not the case, you let me know about if ever there are technical issues. We are just waiting for a few minutes, 1 to 2 minutes. We are going to wait for your other friends and colleagues to join, and then we are going to record the session, and we are going to discuss only of Unit 5 today. So the session is going to be shorter than usual because we don't have 2 units, we have only 1 unit. So you will have enough time to rest afterwards. So if I'm giving you more time for your break right now before starting, it means that I'm going to end much after. So my presentation could take for 30 to 40 minutes, maximum 45 minutes, and then it's okay. There are only 10 slides today. So I do hope that the other lecture ended?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So I'm going to start now. I'm going to start now because I have also other commitments, professional commitments, and this time schedule is for you. So, and I need also to respect my time schedule. So that is why very often I'm in favor of finishing the session 5 minutes earlier so that students have the time to breathe. And I understand that if you started sharp at 8:30 to 10:30, and then now you take another session without even maybe having a break, it's quite, I understand, it's quite hectic, but you know, the flexibility that you have in this course means that there is a minimum of sacrifice also that we must have as an input. Well, I'm starting my class today with Unit 5 Alternative Education Programs. The Alternative Education Program, so let us look at what are the objectives of the session are before talking of what alternative education programs are. We are going to discuss today about the importance of alternative. Alternative veut dire autre. Alternative veut dire autre. Alternative education program. So let me record. So the session is now being recorded. So we are going to talk about Unit 5 Educational Alternative Programs, and we are going through the objectives. Understand the importance of alternative education programs. Analyze the various forms, the different types of alternative programs that we have. How do we set up an alternative education program? And what are the teaching methods and strategies that we have to create an alternative education program? An alternative education program is a tool that we as social school social workers, we can develop, of course, in collaboration with the teachers, in collaboration with all the people indulge and who act as stakeholders of the education system. The point is that you are not trying to create an exam. You are not trying to create and replace the existing system. This is not the purpose of the alternative education program. The alternative education program has more to do with ensuring that students they can reach their goals through acceptable paths. And you want to give to students a wide range, you want to give to them a choice that match their needs and their goals. And this has the objective, the alternative education program, to increase their productivity, to increase their involvement. And therefore, even if they don't manage to be successful through the mainstream education program, may it be at pre-primary, primary, and secondary, the point is to give to students the chance and choices so that they can be successful, and to recognize that students do not all have strengths. They also have weaknesses. While I was preparing your lecture during the week, I came to the analysis that very often we are aware that there are some subjects that students are not very at ease. What are the subjects that students in primary or even in secondary that they are not well at ease? Do you have an answer? What are the subjects that they generally do that they are not well at ease? And they generally fail in those subjects.
Mathematics?
Mathematics. Mathematics is one.
English.
Yes, English. English, mathematics mainly, as main subjects. You are perfectly right. Of course, there are other subjects where they don't work well, but see the logic, dear students. See the logic. For primary level, for 6 years, you do different subjects where you assess and you have to be assessed, and you fail. You fail systematically. When you get into grade 1, in grade 7, into secondary, you fail. You are in grade 7, you fail. You are in grade 9, you fail. Is there not enough evidence that the student is not made for this subject? Of course, you need to have the basics. We agree on that. Because otherwise it's a justification that students should stop doing certain subjects. You need to have the basics. You need to have the basics. We agree that we need to have the basics. But after 10 years, we are forcing students to be indulged. There is a microphone who is switched on. Kindly switch off the microphone, please. Thank you very much. So, for 10 years, we are aware that the student is failing, and we are devising an array of methods. And in our system, we look for tuitions for students whenever they are weak in certain subjects. We parents spend their time, their resources, their dreams that improvement will be made in certain subjects, that they are aware that the student has for the past years not been doing well. I'm not telling you that you should stop doing a subject. Attention. I'm not telling you that you should stop doing the subject. This is not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that students have got strengths and weaknesses. And at a very early age, this is what maybe is missing. And that at pre-primary and primary level we need to have. Say, what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses of students? What are the fields that they excel? Are there fields that they excel? For sure, there are fields that they excel. If they can recall songs, if they can dance, if they can learn choreographies of dances, if they are good in sports, it's not given to everyone to be intelligent in certain ways. I think that Gardner, Gardener, and I have some elements to tell you for those students who are present, that Making use of evidence and names of people in your work is what brings more credibility to what you are saying. And the absence of evidence is going to either penalize you or is going to diminish the level of a discussion that you're bringing into. So I was telling you that there should be ways of identifying the strengths. Identifying is one. What do we do then? If we have simply identified and then we tell the students, okay, go through this path or change path, do something else. And the do something else is stigmatized. The do something else is not given value. The student will find no interest because the student will be aware that this form of alternative education that maybe he or she has been channeled is leading to more negative aspects than positive aspects for the child. In theory, there are very nice things that we can say. But when we have an analysis of the path, the educational path of students that cannot be successful in the main subjects that they study, we as parents, as teachers, we are very, very often result oriented. And we need to be result oriented. Otherwise there is no measure, there is no possible measurement of the performance of students. We need to be result oriented. I'm not going to say that we should not be result oriented. But the point is that what are the concrete alternative education programs that have been developed? Forget about a national basis. At an individual level, when we say at individual level, at a school level. Because each school has a specificity, right? If you talk about some schools in some regions where they live along coastal regions, those students will be employed most probably, most probably in the sectors of the economy, most probably around the coastal regions. It means that they will be working in the hotels, they will be working in leisure activities, they will be working in tourism, most probably, or they will be working in fishing. These are the areas, direct or indirect, that they are going to learn, that they are going to not learn, but that they are going to be embarked as a career. Some manage to obtain the minimum qualifications, maybe at the different stages of their educational path, PSAC, secondary, Form 5, HSC, and so on. They manage to be successful, but a large proportion, they end up, they end up very often without having skills that would help them more than simply learning the conventional subjects. I'm telling it again and again. Learning conventional subjects is essential. I'm not saying that they should not be learning. I'm not saying that a base is not important. But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, the student finds more interest in many other things than to sit in a class where he or she knows that he or she is not going to pass. How can you expect the student to be disciplined? Because for the past 10 years, he has been failing. How can you expect the student to be disciplined? That's a question that I'm asking. So that is what we are looking at. What are alternative education programs. Now, where can alternative education programs be used? There are some contexts where we can use that. When students, they don't come to school on a regular basis, we need to know why, and if possible, develop those alternative programs for them. So it's not only the school social worker who is going to develop that. I told you, it's with the teacher. Why? What is the problem? Is the parent aware that the child is not coming? Est-ce que le parent a la possibilité d'exercer a monitoring and a control? That's also something else. Sometimes, some parents, they are going to tell us, Monsieur, que voulez-vous? I know that they are not coming, but I cannot do anything. I told them, but I cannot do anything. So now it's going to be a very tedious task, but it will be the role of the educators, of the role of the teachers, the role of the school social workers to find ways and means, if ever those ways and means exist, to reach those students with poor attendance, with family crisis, with low failing grades, with social, emotional, mental, behavioral issues, those who have poor relations with their friends, those who have discipline problems, those who have drug abuse related problems, those who have criminal and violent behaviors, those who have started to show signs of disinterest in education, in mainstream education. So we need to devise a plan for them, how to integrate that, because the purpose of the alternative education program is integration of people who feel excluded, either who feel or who are excluded, because they don't find sense in the system. They don't find sense because, listen, if we take the example of the same situation of schools in coastal regions, and we do a survey about where they would end afterwards. And when you ask them, those students, that they are going to work on catamaran, right? They are going to work on catamaran. What are the skills that you need to know to work on a catamaran? Have you observed people working on a catamaran for leisure activities? What are the skills that they need to? Do they have skills or no skills are needed?
They have to know
Yes.
how to swim. Swimming.
They need to know how to swim. That's as obvious as it seems. They need to know how maybe to clean things. Eh? And it's a very disciplined activity. I don't know if you have been able to watch. Maybe when we go, most of the motions, most of us, we went mostly. Navigation as well. I'm coming on that, Vinesh. Messi. Navigation skills also very important. So this is why navigation is also very important. But my question is that sometimes there are some people that learn navigation by experience, where in fact they could have been even much better in navigation should they have been exposed to navigation in school. Because they're living along coastal regions. Why not integrate navigation or the basics of navigation? Can you imagine a class of 10 students in primary level? Of course, not for standard 1 or standard 2. Merci, Monsieur Cassi. Skills of weather, etc. Very important, very, very important. But in standard 5 or in standard 6, and all with all, maybe I'm not even telling to bring students on a catamaran, with all the virtual reality possibilities that we have today, and with all the technology that we have, I'm sure that students would pay more attention to be aware at a very young age at the basics of what you are all mentioning: navigation, weather. You know, sometimes there are people working, the fishermen, they work And on the very eve, when they look at the sky, when they look at the stars, some of them even told me they can smell when it's going to rain, because it seems that moisture is an indication of raining. Moisture, moisture in the atmosphere. But they're also aware to look at the branches, they look at the waves, they look at the tides, and they didn't learn that at school, eh? They learned that through experience. And when you look at, I'm just taking one sector. Of course, all of our students cannot work on the catamaran. Eh? There are also other areas. And I'm sharing with you the experience that I have in terms of there are some very good car mechanics who have not been going to universities and learning engineering, mechanical engineering. But when you bring your car to big car agencies where there are mechanics with so many qualifications, sometimes solutions that are very obvious and that are very simple, they come from experienced mechanics who do not, who have not been attending a lot of lectures. It doesn't mean that lectures are not important, but my point is that they have been learning by experience. The same thing goes for construction work, so that you don't say, monsieur, ben, vous avez parlé que de la mer, monsieur, vous avez parlé que du corps mechanics, monsieur, vous avez parlé que de construction work. Donc, dans construction work, encore une fois, vous avez beaucoup de personnes qui, they will end up in this because they know that when they will stop going to school, they will be school dropout, they will learn the skills. I'm not telling you to tell students how to become construction workers. I'm telling you, if you ask a parent, right now, what do you want your child to do in the future? I'm not going to mention a job specifically, but I guess that the answers that the parents would say, the parents would be, at least the answers would be around earning a living decently. Earning a living decently. So it means that it's the duty of the education system to have a plan of an alternative education program which is assessed on a regular basis. Where is it working? Where is it not working? Why some forms of alternative education program that have been here for a number of years, are they successful or not? Are they successful or not? There should be an evaluation about those alternative education programs. Vocationalism is an example of alternative education program. Vocationalism is. But we saw well what happened last week, and I'm not going to talk about what happened in terms of violence, etc. We're not going to comment on that. We saw what happened. It doesn't mean that in other schools those acts of violence do not occur, and it doesn't mean that they do not occur as well. But the video was posted and it was shocked the whole population about the degree of violence that was shown without me having to comment this. Not at all. But it all shocked us about what was happening in an alternative education program. Well, I'm not going to comment on that. So we're going to look at the different types of schools that could exist, that could be developed, and I've not seen that in Mauritius. Continuation school, we have fundamental school, etc. But they should be developed. When you are talking about continuation school, is You're trying to deal with dropouts. You're trying to deal with students who are pregnant, with teenage. It means that there has been an interruption in their studies. You're talking about individualized plans to suit the needs of children. I guess that for the exams, so far I know when students are much more at ease, and this would be one chapter that I think that you will not be having too much difficulty. Hmm? You won't be having much difficulty to learn that, and I would strongly advise you to pay attention to the Unit 5 as well, because that's true that you will be having a question on all the chapters, but one question, such as the alternative education program, could be more accessible because there are fewer theories than the previous ones. So continuation school is to allow students to continue when there has been an interruption. Now, when you reach to fundamental school is very different from continuation school. The students, they need imperatively to come in the school with a uniform. You need to have strict discipline with the child. You're going to make the child develop respect and responsibility. And of course, to develop a strong work ethic and basic skills. The basic skills, when we ask those owners of catamaran, I'm taking this example, what are the problems that we have with the new people, with young people that come and join to work? Ayo, ende vinto. Ayo, ende pase yen ti mama zot vini, yen ti mama zot ale, yen ti mama zot pa vini, zot ro de l'avance, zot ro de zot facilite, zot pase ye, zot so many reasons. So many reasons that the employers they tell us. That is why I'm very happy with the école hôtelière. But I consider that the école hôtelière is unfortunately too dissociated from the education system. In fact, there should have been a continuation program for the students who have an inclination towards l'hôtellerie. And of course, there should be other institutions as well. Because if hotel schools have become more of a successful group form of alternative education, I wonder why we don't have the other areas as well that are as famous and as successful as the hotel schools. For instance, music schools. There are many music schools. I don't tell you that there are no music schools, but as an alternative program, do they? Because many other people will work in the we call that into the entertainment industry. A friend of mine who works in the entertainment industry was telling me something. He has a group. He has a musical group, and he works in a hotel. Things were very difficult after COVID for him, by the way. And then he was just talking to me and telling me, musicians also have bills to pay. Musicians also have children. But when you look at the status and when you look at the opportunities that they have, the opportunities are quite limited for them. And it's very often they need to combine more than 2 to 3 jobs to be able to meet the ends at the end of the month. So I was just having like a discussion with you with the constraints that some students, that some people working into some sectors have, but nonetheless being prepared in advance. And being prepared would not be being put into a fundamental school. A fundamental school would be you are looking to create in the individual a discipline, a rigorous discipline. The The next slide, the magnet schools. So continuation, school dropouts, interruption, fundamental school, very disciplined. Magnet schools. Magnet school is to develop special schools in academics, arts, and technical fields at elementary level. You see, the magnet school has got to deal with racial segregation or ethnic segregation. So you want all students from different ethnic origins or different racial backgrounds to be included. You don't want to find one excluded and the other one not included. You want to bring them together. So what are the steps that you can take to set up an alternative education program at your level as a school social worker? Include the personnel, bring the community, look at the specificity of the community. If you have a community where there is where there are agricultural activities, where there are, je vous ai parlé de construction activities, where there are so many areas where people have different, hein, vous pouvez avoir un endroit où vous avez un peu plus de, de formes d'activité économique que d'autres, in some areas qui se développent et qui deviennent des, des big villages où vous aurez tout un service qui va commencer à se développer lorsque vous voyez l'expansion des villages, des villages comme, qui sont déjà maintenant plus des petits villages, hein, comme Flac, comme Triolet, comme Goodlands, qui ne sont plus des petits villages, hein. Ils sont développés aussi. Et il y a beaucoup de secteurs d'opportunités de travail. Would it not be good? Et c'est vrai que j'apprécie, quand il faut apprécier quelque chose, il faut apprécier aussi quelque chose et ne pas voir rien qui ne va. Vous avez en grade 12 un sujet qui s'appelle, peut-être vos enfants, ou vous êtes au courant de ça, ça s'appelle Build Your Business. BYB. Vous n'avez pas d'examen dedans, hein? C'est pas un sujet où vous avez un examen. Mais pour moi, c'est un very good alternative education program, mais qui n'est malheureusement pas aussi valued en tant que tel. Parce que on veut créer l'esprit entrepreneurship, on veut créer l'esprit de how to build your business, d'où le titre de ce Alternative Education Program BYB. It's an example, hein? Ce sont des exemples qu'il faudrait prendre. It's an Alternative Education Program, mais qui n'est pas très bien ficelé, qui n'est pas très bien ficelé. Il y a des lacunes. Parce que c'est après tout un prof qui le fait ce sujet, c'est le prof qui généralement est un prof de business. Généralement, je dis qu'il est un prof de business. Et on ne va pas remettre en question ce qui se passe, mais des fois, on a cette impression que peut-être les classes où on aura des examens sont beaucoup plus importants qu'une classe où on n'aura pas d'examen. Et donc, peut-être que les élèves, aussi bien que les parents, peut-être, je dis bien, peut-être ils ignorent ou ils pensent que, peut-être même des fois, hein, ils pensent que c'est une perte de temps. Peut-être, je dis peut-être pas. Peut-être ils donnent beaucoup d'importance aussi à cela. Mais lorsque vous regardez, des fois, les gens qui sont dans la restauration, les gens qui ont commencé un petit business à vendre à manger, à boire, etc., ou on est dans la restauration, ça aurait été très utile d'avoir un peu de connaissances quant à comment gérer les sous, comment gérer les comptes, comment plane certaines choses, C'est là où la base de l'anglais, français, de mathématiques est useful, c'est vrai. C'est pour cela qu'au tout départ, je vous ai dit que je n'ai pas dit qu'il faut éliminer ces sujets. Il faut qu'il y ait quand même la base. Mais il y a quand même, comme ça, beaucoup de secteurs où les gens, à l'île Maurice, rentrent dans un secteur et commencent à travailler sans avoir été formés à comprendre les options. Quelques années de cela, il y avait un autre alternative programme, ça s'appelait Career Guidance. C'est vrai que ça existe toujours, Career Guidance aujourd'hui, mais comme je vous ai dit, you are guiding the students toward a career. Then what? Then what? You just tell him that this, then what? Moi, je suis peut-être pour un peu plus de work placement, un peu plus pour les visites, un peu plus pour... are there any issues, Miss Guldraw? GA. I can't understand what you have GA. What you mean by GA? Do you mind elaborating on what GA has to do?
Oui, monsieur.
Oui, dis-moi.
Oui, monsieur Diaou. Ça Alternative Education Programme là. Donc,
Ouais,
à Maurice même, nous prenons le contexte Maurice. Mais sauf si nous pourrions dire que nous, il pas trop marché parce que
oui,
nous vous prenons un subject qui pour montrer, un professeur pour montrer un jour, après il peut y ressources et il peut y market value pour tout ça, un sujet qui se pour montrer là. Nous prenons la
oui,
musique.
oui,
Mais combien d'enfants
oui,
pour faire la musique,
oui.
et nous
Mais
on
seulement,
pensait
moi
quelque part
d'accord.
que à cause de ça, c'est tout qui de tout. Oui,
Ouais, moi pose
oui.
une question. Ne tu dire combien pour un, bon pas pour cause de la musique là, hein? Combien pour un dans entertainment, correct? Si nous prenons dans Maurice, si nous prenons dans Maurice, bon pas pour prendre beaucoup moins, hein? À nous dire Enazis, 40 le tel. Bon pas pour prendre beaucoup moins, hein? Moi, j'ai dit c'est 40 le tel. Quand vous guette le nombre de personnes qui dans entertainment, entertainment là, il est grand ça, hein? Entertainment là, attention, qui vous pensez que c'est juste santé ça. Entertainment là, c'est grand. Peut-être une fin remarquer qui entertainment est aussi relié avec sport dans le sens qui fait aquagym. Right? Je vais prendre un exemple à moi. Il y a aussi Kids Corner. Il y a santé, santé c'est un, hein? Il y a danser. Il y a musicien. Il y a toute une panoplie de travail qui est associé avec entertainment dans Maurice. Et si nous dire qu'il y en a à peu près, je peux minimiser tout ça faire là, je peux minimiser tout ça faire là, moi. Il y a 10 personnes qui travaillent, 10 personnes par le tel, qui travaillent dans sa entertainment secteur là. 10 entertainment. On prend 10 personnes. Il fait à peu près la même. Il fait 400 personnes qui travaillent dans ces, on prend 400 personnes qui travaillent dans le secteur entertainment. On prend 400 personnes. B, dans ce cas-là, même si Dimoun là, pas pour aller vers sa ban, créer là, comment dire, en tant qu'un choix principal. B, bizarre expose zot à ban élément, comprend, qui, quand ou pour santé, santé à l'une, il peut être difficile pour capable meet both ends. Mais par contre, dans le entertainment industry, il y a tout un array of jobs qui est capable de conduire jusqu'à qui une recreational manager. Trouvez-moi l'option là, mais l'option sans là. Moi, n'est plus l'eau santé là, moi. Moi, cause de recreational manager. Et pour capable une recreational manager, là, ça veut dire, vous pouvez finir dire à l'individu que get ça. Si vous avez une affinité, et si vous senti qu'il y a un élément que vous êtes prêt pour une affinité dans entertainment and recreation, il y a une opportunité là. Mais il y a une préparation qui est bizarre. Il y a une préparation qui est bizarre. Maintenant, je pense que tu peux cause Junior Achievement Mascarin avec moi, ou soit les autres formes de learning qui ban aussi quelques formes de Alternative Education Program, oui, les morceaux, mais pas assez. Parce qu'il y a les autres skills qu'ils vont apprendre, apart from, parce que nous pouvons discuter d'une option de Alternative Education Program. Donc, il n'est pas vraiment un Alternative Education Program, c'est plutôt un extra ou soit un extracurricular activity. Il ne faut pas nous mélangeons extracurricular activity avec Alternative Education Programs. Vous comprenez? Parce que là, à travers Alternative Education Programs, nous ça s'il vous plaît. Quand nous get slide numéro à là, nous pouvons cibler les enfants qui ont un problème là. Je peux trouver. Nous pas besoin d'un autre choix qui sont capables de participer dans du Junior Achievement Mascarin ou soit sont capables de participer dans du Duke of Edinburgh Award ou pas là. Nous pas besoin d'un autre choix là. Ça veut dire que ces bons enfants là, c'est bons enfants qui ont un besoin spécifique. Les bons qui nous font une différence entre Alternative Education Programs, hein, monsieur le président, comprends-moi, Alternative Education Programs avec extracurricular activities que tu vas apprendre, qui est essentiel, hein, pas pour remettre en question ça, moi. Les extra essentiels, independence, manage on your own, walking, doing some activities, wonderful. Et c'est vrai qu'il est de nous ban skills qui est important. Moi, je dis non, moi. Moi, fully. D'ailleurs, moi-même, moi, encourage mes enfants, mes élèves pour participer dans cette activité que je peux mentionner là. Fully, moi, encourage. Mais nous, Alternative Education Program, pas perdu de vue ce qui nous peut dire. Nous, Alternative Education Program, les cibler les enfants qui ont besoin spécifiquement. Ces enfants qui ont une family crisis là. Ces enfants qui ont une failing grade là. Les pas pour capables à 100% intégrer dans tout ban programme qui est là pour tous les enfants. Parce que déjà au départ, il y a une discipline problems. Comment vous capable faire écoute ou c'est que peut-être it will make more sense that et moi pas vous dire non hein. Peut-être que à travers cette activité-là, he will learn to become disciplined, he will learn to channel his violence, he will learn to solve certain drug abuse-related programs. Hopefully, il pas amène les autres camarades, more to become drug abuse-related problems. Ça écoute là. C'est pas bien encadré. Donc, moi, espérer, je peux distinguer entre mon activité qui nous est là pour les élèves, l'école, en général, et ban Alternative Education Programs qui nous peut développer pour les enfants dans le besoin. Donc, comment nous créer un Alternative Education Program? Nous inclure school personnel, nous gather information, nous assess the needs of students, nous create a timetable with relevant framework, nous minimize wastage of resources, nous identify the gaps in previous service delivery system, nous faire un plan deciding on the size, where is it going to be, the style, the structure. Identify the type of students to be concerned. Je trouve la type of students to be concerned. Plan a proper student selection process. But of course, a form of evaluation. A form of evaluation for the form of alternative education program that you are having. What are the teaching methods and the strategies that we have? More participation of these students in need in classrooms. So that is why nous avons beaucoup plus de project work. Focus on creative development. Allow them to come with certain suggestions about what they really want to do. Il y a des enfants qui sont très très bons dans le dessin. Et le marché de entertainment, allez là, nous fais que ça. Nous fais que ça. Le marché de entertainment dans ban l'hôtel inclut aussi, Pasis, ce qui m'a mentionné, ben, ban élèves qui fait très très bien le dessin. Il y a une opportunité aussi pour eux. Peut-être pas nécessairement seulement en tant qu'artiste pour faire une exposition, parce qu'il n'est pas dans la culture des Mauriciens pour acheter un tableau. Il n'est pas dans la culture, nous disons les francs, hein. Mauriciens passent tes tableaux. Mauriciens passent tes tableaux. Mauriciens dans cette culture, longtemps, ils contiennent un calendrier dans la case. Ça, c'est culture. Mais pour dire ces tableaux qui servent dans le tableau, je comprends que nous opérons là. Pour investir dans le tableau, les pays dans la casse, aider pas tout Mauricien qui peut comprendre valeur un tableau. Donc, ce qui comprend ta valeur là, ce qui pas comprend les pour lui, hein. Je donne un simple exemple. Si vous avez un jour, quelque part, mieux vaut de 10 000 roupies qui plutôt ou donner un tableau 100 000 roupies. Ou donner un tableau 100 000 roupies, il pour dire qui on donne lui. Il n'est pas pour même qu'on valeur tableau là. Mais si vous donnez 1000 roupies, il est pour plus content que de roupies qui 100 000 roupies. Vous pouvez faire une comparaison avec ce. Right? C'est juste parce qu'il y en a beaucoup en y compris quand on gagne beaucoup de ça tatoueurs professionnels qui nous y a, il y en a beaucoup de tatoueurs professionnels qui apprennent sur le tas, apprennent pas à travers l'expérience, mais monsieur qui en tant que parent, en tant que jeune, en tant qu'un Mauricien, nous connaît combien un tatoueur prend pour capable de dessiner probablement un fait de tatouage. Il y a une somme d'argent dépendant de the size of a drawing, dépendant de ban skills qu'il peut involve là-dedans. Mais encore une fois, je me dis, monsieur, mais comme camarade, oui, non? Moi-même, moi, un camarade qui au moins un camarade mauvais pensé qui dans ce domaine-là, mais qui a dit end of the day, après 15 ans, 20 ans, là, nous connaît qui peut dire, moi, tu connais, comme on réfléchit longtemps, c'est pas un travail qui m'a capable de faire longtemps, parce qu'il me lisier puis commence à avoir un problème. Et il est en me demandant, mais je dis, mais qui fait te dire, te lisier puis commence à avoir un problème? Il dit, moi, mais sa quantité de concentration, m'a besoin concentré pendant longtemps là. Mais pendant longtemps, je pas prête attention au fait qu'il me besoin faire un examen des yeux. Je pensais qu'il n'est pas important. Ben, on prend un exemple, peut-être un exemple, il pas assez pour généraliser, mais il y a un ensemble de ban areas que nous besoin amène ça issue de safety occupation and safety occupational and safety studies dans cette formation qui ban précaution qui besoin prendre de safety informe nous because de travail ou la mer safety safety issues are very very important. Create positive thoughts in the minds of students. Students, ça c'est pour moi un des aspects les plus importants. C'est cultive positive thoughts in the mind of students. Positive thoughts are very often missing, a lot missing. Et il y a trop beaucoup de negative influences qui fait que positive thoughts n'est pas réussi cultivate. Et là, tout les stakeholders ont un rôle à jouer pour créer sa positive thought là. Emphasize reason and understanding over rote memorization. Rote memorization, ça prend pas au cœur. Donc, dans cette alternative education là, fais-vous comprendre qu'il y a un raisonnement qui vous a servi plutôt qu'il apprend pas au cœur. Et nous remarqué, passer ça avec les élèves primaires, ou les élèves secondaires, ou les élèves, même les élèves tertiaires, même les mature students, oublier rote learning, rote memorization, sa level of reasoning and understanding là, manquait beaucoup. Respect for humanity, awareness among students on their rights and dignity. They have rights, they have a dignity. Et bien sûr, to encourage self-learning. En Afrique, il y a beaucoup d'enfants créent des gadgets, ils créent des choses. Et quand je te compare, je exposure to technology et je exposure to Internet qui est très, très limité comparé à beaucoup de pays des autres places, ben, ou même en Inde arrive ça aussi, hein. Il y a beaucoup, beaucoup, beaucoup d'enfants qui ont un potentiel incroyable, mais le fait est que je demande needs, je demande strengths, je demande weaknesses, pas fin être identified at an early stage. Un petit conseil à je tout, un petit conseil à je tout, c'est que Unit 5, c'est une session qui m'a pensé, j'ai besoin focus un peu plus, peut-être pas aujourd'hui qui nous propose ça, un peu plus dans cette révision, parce que personnellement, je comprends que j'ai énormément de contraintes, j'ai tout énormément de contraintes, mais aussi énormément de contraintes, et que j'ai plus envie peut-être gagner un bon résultat dans mon module. J'ai de bons résultats pour déterminer par votre assignment et par votre note finale dans votre classe test avec dans votre l'examen. Mais votre input que je te mettais, il pourrait sentir dans votre ban point. Moins votre input dans votre travail, mais ça peut avoir un impact direct sur les autres points. Que des fois, vous êtes capable de contenter d'un passing mark. Des fois, peut-être, même le passing mark, pas pour suffisant. Et il y a là les plus dommages qui, vous êtes pour besoin, peut-être, dans certains cas, pas dans mon module, peut-être dans d'autres modules, ou peut-être dans mon module, peut-être vous êtes pour besoin recite. Alors qu'à la base, il y a beaucoup de flexibilité, il y a beaucoup d'éléments qui nous donnent qui ont besoin un minimum of investment parce que les élèves de Open University, c'est pas des élèves primaires, c'est pas des élèves secondaires, c'est quand même des macho students. Et si des macho students, pas peut réaliser qu'il y a un minimum de input qui besoin dans notre travail, ben, les seuls perdants de cette négligence-là, ce sera eux-mêmes, hein? Et moi, j'ai envie que tous mes élèves, je réussis traverser avec un bon résultat et qu'ils soient capables d'implémenter ne serait-ce qu'une petite chose qui nous vient causer dans nos cours, si jamais je peux indulge dans School Social Work. Donc, moi, pour qu'ils soient là, à ce point-là, moi, je souhaite une très bonne journée. Quant à la correction de ce bon assignment, moi, je finis corriger, moi, je finis commence corriger du moins. Quand moi, pour post-mark, moi, pour post-mark, pour tout. Moi, pas les post pour certains, après ça, post pour d'autres, les autres en groupe et attendre. Quand moi, pour post tout un seul coup, les autres pour gagner d'autres points, là, d'autres bon assignment, et d'autres pour connaître qui peut arriver. Nos prochaines sessions, nous pouvons aller, moi, quoi, vers le 20 mai ou le 28 mai ou quelque chose comme ça. Après, si besoin est, là, nous pouvons avoir une option pour capable causer une session révision. Bien sûr, moi, pour aussi, il y a d'autres qui jettent papier d'examen fini prêt. Et c'est pour cela que, quand on explique bonnes affaires, tant bien que mal, beaucoup d'éléments qui nous causaient par rapport à ban potential exam questions, ban potential, ban highly examinable questions and issues. Et aujourd'hui, nous finissons déjà get bien alternative education programs parce que c'est un topic qui est beaucoup plus accessible que ban previous topics. Right? Donc, pas pose-moi plus beaucoup de questions. Je design un thème qui est pour réviser bien le Alternative Education Program. Donc, je souhaite tout une bonne fin d'après-midi, un bon samedi, et me donne rendez-vous dans la prochaine session. Allez, au revoir tout le monde.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Au revoir, au revoir.
Bon week-end, monsieur. Au revoir.
Bon, ok, au revoir.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Au
Au
revoir.
revoir, bon week-end, monsieur.
Bon week-end. Allez, au revoir tout le monde.